Hello and welcome to Me and My Golf TV. I'm Piers Ward.
And I'm Andy Proudman, and we are here with European Tour player Richard Bland, and this is my swing analysis.
Is that it? I thought you were going to do something funny like...
No,
that was funny. Okay, so it's time for My Swing Analysis. This is where we analyse one of your golf swings.
Yes, and if you want to get involved and you want to have the chance to have your swing analysed by myself and Piers, then make sure you go to Facebook, Instagram and Twitter today and enter the competition. It could be you we're analysing on here.
But as you can see, Andy, it's a special guest
today.
Special guest. So we have Richard Bland, European Tour professional. So we were lucky enough to spend some time with him and Graham Storm at a tailor-made event at Woodall Spa, doing some short game challenges. Lots of videos on that coming up soon, both on our channel and on TaylorMade's channel. So make sure you check those out. Now, Richard, we soon found out doing these short game challenges that his short game was
definitely
above average.
Above average, to say the least, yeah, it's pretty good.
It's exceptional, very, very good. But we are lucky enough now to actually do a swing analysis of Richard's golf swing. So we're going to talk about what we see, obviously, first of all, what we like, and then maybe what you guys can learn from it, and maybe was something that Richard could do if he wanted to change the shape of his shot. So I think the first thing we need to do is let's get the swing up, okay? Yep. So from the front on view, we can see good setup, standing, you know, he's almost in that sort of K-bomb position. He's getting behind the golf ball, which we like for a driver. And interesting, Andy, he said the driver is actually his least favourite club at the moment.
Yeah, it's his worst. That was, I suppose, his weakest point,
Weakest point. So as we go into the backswing, we can see that he loads up, he winds up his body into his trail side. We talk about this a lot.
All the time.
It's so important to do this with a driver, then he's doing a really good job of this so far. As he then goes into his downswing, we can see that he's staying behind more with the upper body, which is really good. You can see that when he strikes the golf ball, his body is behind the golf ball, which is really important when you're getting these, when you want to hit a driver off the big high tee peg. Yep. So let's go to the down the line view. Now, this is something that we see quite common with a lot of touring professionals, that when the club goes back as he goes into his takeaway, that the club head is slightly above the swing plane. Yep. Okay, so we see this a lot. So club goes above the swing plane on the way back, gets to the top. Now, as he starts his downswing, he actually returns the club down through a very similar area.
He's above the swing plane.
Above the swing plane. So normally we see when a tour pro goes above the plane that they'll actually just do a slight change of direction and go back down towards the plane. We can see here that Richard isn't doing that. So he's slightly above the plane as he goes down and through the shot. So the club is swinging to the left effectively through the ball. So we spoke to Richard about this, and obviously you got to almost, when you see something like that, some people consider that to be a fault, but some people would do that by design. So if you want to fade the golf ball, which Richard was doing when he was hitting his shots, that's absolutely fine. That's what you need to do, isn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of the tour pros, if you ask them what shot they don't want to really hit, they don't want to hit the hook.
Yeah.
You know, they do not want to see the ball turning over. So, you know, a lot of tour pros are often fighting the club getting stuck behind them. In Richard's case, he's not. You know, his bad shot actually was more of a right shot that he said. And as you can see, like you said, that club being slightly in front of the swing plane just causes his path to be slightly left. So, I mean, there's some great things in Richard's golf swing that he does. And if Richard's happy playing a fade, then he's absolutely doing the right thing. But I think the one thing that we always ask all of our students, and the one thing that we asked Richard is, what is the shot that you want to get rid of? And that was his right shot. So, if you're at home, think about the shot that actually scares you the most. What's the shot that you want to take out of the equation? And then we can sort of look at the type of swing or the type of changes you need to make in order to get rid of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's actually just go through why this right shot may actually happen as well, because there's a couple of things that we need to work out. Obviously, if Richard wants to fade the golf ball, he wants to play a fade, that's great. And obviously the over-exaggeration of the fade is when it cuts out, slices a little bit too much to the right. But if he wants to keep that fade, the conversation is very different if then he says, well, actually, I don't want to fade it, I want to draw it. So that's a totally different conversation. So we're going to go through both conversations, shall we? That's probably the best thing to do, isn't it? So
if we can just quickly get Richard's front on view again, what we'll notice with Richard is that the ball position with him is actually slightly back of where we would like to see it. Now, the more the ball is back, Piers, two things happen. The more the path will be to the right, and the less time the face has to square. So simply changing Richard's ball position, moving it further forward in the stance to more up towards the left heel, okay, will actually encourage the path to be a little bit better, because the club will bottom out a little bit more before the golf ball, but it also gives you extra time to square the face. If you imagine the ball's back here, my club is still swinging down when it hits the golf ball, but also my face is pointing to the right.
Correct.
So there's a good chance there that if the ball is back, that brings the right side of the course more into play.
Yeah.
So a very simple fix for Richard is actually to take the right side out of it, have that ball forward. And it's a great thing for you guys to check. I know it's something we talk about a lot,
Yeah.
but having the ball really forward in the stance just minimises the risk of hitting that golf ball to the right.
And that's exactly right. And we often talk about this when a path is going, so imagine I'm going this way now, so a path is going to the left there and the face is pointing too much to the right of
Yeah.
that. And the greater that difference, the more the ball will go out to the right in this case. So actually by you actually just moving the ball further forward there, Andy, you're actually creating a smaller gap there.
Yeah, so we just got to
Smaller
minimise
difference, should I
that.
say. Smaller difference.
Minimise the chance of hitting that to the ball to the right.
Okay, so that's what we would do if Richard, it's a very simple thing to do, isn't it? So that would be something that we'd experiment doing with Richard there. If someone wanted to then totally change it and go from, well, actually I don't want to get the path going to the left, I don't want to get the ball slicing out to the right, I want to actually play a little bit of a draw here. How would we change that? Keeping the same backswing, but how would we change it on the downswing?
So if you think about it, as we said with Richard, his path is to the left, he's above the swing plane, slightly in front, swinging a little bit to the left, again encourages them to fade, but his backswing and downswing match. So his backswing is above the plane, his downswing is above the plane. So all we would say is that we would want his backswing and downswing to still match, but feel that it's swinging to the right. So we would encourage him to feel that the path is a little bit more to the, maybe in on the way back, but then maybe out on the way through. And you know what? With such a player like Richard, a very skilled golfer, if we said to him, feel that your path is to the right, then probably he would get it on plane.
Yeah.
He would be very close to being on plane. And the more on plane you are, the more straight that golf ball is generally going to fly. If he wanted to draw it, he would need to be slightly more underneath the plane. So I think that what you can take from this, if your path is too much to, let's say it's too much towards the left like Richard's is, slightly over and slightly left, well, if we just simply feel that on the way back we're a little bit more in and a little bit more out, so I'm feeling now my path of the golf club back and through is more to the right, then you know what? Hopefully that's going to make enough change to sort of neutralise it out.
I think that's exactly the word that was in my head. That was neutralise, the exact same word he pulled out there, and that's exactly what it would do. It would sort of go from being a path from too far left. It wouldn't be the path out to the right, maybe too much. It would actually be more of a neutral path.
Definitely. We like that. Neutral. It's a great word. If we can get less spin on the golf ball, we're always happy. It's easy to go for a fade, easy to go for a draw. You can sort of play all the shots then, can't you?
And there is a trade-off with this as well, because Richard obviously, as I say, he's on European Tour, he's obviously a very good player, he's in control of his golf ball the majority of times. For him, if he were to change it and actually create the draw shot, that might be too much out of control for him.
Yeah.
So he may only, out of 10 shots, he may hit 2 to the right. Now, when he goes to the draw, he may hit 6 or 7 shots really good, maybe slightly better than his normal ones, but actually the 3 or 4 that he then hits would be actually too destructive for him in that way. So sometimes it's better the devil you know, but as Andy said at the beginning of the video, make sure you look at your goal swing, you look at your game, figure out what you want to do to improve. Okay, Andy, I think this is pretty simple. You should hit a shot now.
Okay, right.
So take homes on this one, definitely. You know, I really like the fact that that Richard's path on the way back and on the way down is very similar. Can you do that when you hit this golf shot? Can you give me a path?
I'm going to go for a path that's on plane, on the way back and on the way down. That's what I want. On the way down and on the way back. Good path.
There you have it. Simple.
Simple.
Okay, there you have it. If you have any questions about Richard's golf swing, post them down below. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed that as well. And also, guys, if you don't subscribe, hit the subscribe button. All the videos are free and it allows you to interact with us.
Yes, definitely. And make sure you check out meandmygolf.com. Click the link in the corner and get your 7-day free trial today. And also coming up soon is the helicopter flop shot challenge. You won't want to miss it, so make sure you keep your eyes open for that. And we'll see you next time.